Okay, he's on.
He's actually on.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello, Bob. Hello, Zara.
Welcome to the Primate podcast, Jack. We are really glad you made the time.
Of course, when two gorillas who teach English invite you to speak, you say yes. The idea, it made me smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Primate podcast, your slow English podcast for real-life conversations. I'm Bob.
I'm Zara, and today is a very special episode. We have a guest joining us on a live call. Jack is a businessman. He started with very little. He built something real, and he says, many times he says, that English was not just a language for him. It was the door that opened everything else.
So today, Jack is here to share his thinking, his mistakes, his method, his heart. This is a B1 to B2 episode, but honestly, what Jack shares today is for anyone who has ever felt that English was too far away to reach.
Don't worry if you miss a word or two. Stay with the story. The language will come.
Before we go deeper, comment below. Has English ever opened a door for you? Or has a door been closed because of English? Write it. We will share the best comments with Jack, and if there are many honest questions, Jack has agreed to come back in a future episode and answer them personally.
I will come back. If people are honest in the comments, I will be honest in return. This is a promise.
Let's start with something simple. Why English? Why did it become so important to you?
Because at one point in my life, I had nothing. Not nothing in a poetic way, nothing in a real way. No money, no special teachers, no books that other students had. People around me, they said, "Why are you wasting your time with English? English is for rich people. English is for the city. English is not for someone like you." And for a long time, I almost believed them.
Almost.
Almost. But there was something quiet inside me, a small voice that said, "This language will change my life." I did not know how. I did not know when. I just knew. And here is something I want to tell every person listening today. That small voice, when you hear it, listen. It is the most important voice you will ever have. Louder voices around you will tell you many things. But the small voice inside, that one knows the truth about you.
The small voice knows the truth about you. That is something to write down.
It is. Because most people, they spend their lives ignoring the small voice. And the louder voices are usually fear or comparison or what other people expect. The small voice, that is you, the real you, the you that knows what you need before your mind knows it.
And what did your small voice say about English?
It said, start. Just start. Even with nothing. Especially with nothing. So I started. I had no money for a teacher, so I made the world my teacher. I went to places where foreigners came. I listened. I watched their faces. I tried to understand even one word, one phrase, one moment. And when I was brave enough, I tried to speak. Most of the time I was not brave, but sometimes I was. And those small, brave moments, those built everything.
Years of small, brave moments.
Years and years. There was no shortcut. There is no shortcut. People always look for shortcuts. They search and search for the secret. But the secret is show up every day. Try, fail, try again, fail differently, try again. And one day you wake up and realize, I am no longer struggling with this language. I am living inside it.
I want to ask you something many people listening will want to hear. Many of them are working very hard, trying to make money, trying to build something. They are tired. They feel they are running and getting nowhere. What do you say to them?
I say something that took me many years to understand, and I will say it as honestly as I can. Many people chase money. They wake up and think, today I will make money. Tomorrow I will make more money. They run, and they run, and they run. But money is shy. The more you chase it, the more it runs from you.
It runs from you?
Yes. Listen carefully, because this is something I believe with my whole heart. Money does not come to people who chase it. Money comes to people who do something they love, naturally, honestly, with real value for other people. When you do work you love, work that helps someone, money begins to find you, slowly at first. but surely, real value cannot stay hidden forever. The world finds it.
That is a different way of thinking.
It is the only way that works long term. I see young people, very smart young people, very talented young people, and they choose careers because the money is there. And 5 years later, 10 years later, they wake up tired. They have money, they have things, but they have no fire inside. The fire is the most important thing. Without fire, success is just exhaustion in nicer clothes.
Exhaustion in nicer clothes. A lot of people will recognize that.
They will, because most of them are living it. And I want them to know you can change this. You do not need to throw your life away. You just need to find the small thing inside you that has fire, and follow it. Slowly, patiently, with courage. The money will come, but the fire must come first. Always.
And English fits into this how?
English fits because when you do something you love in a language only your country speaks, your love reaches a small number of people. When you do something you love in English, your love reaches the world. Same fire, different reach. And the world has more space for what you have to give than your country alone can ever provide.
What was the biggest mistake you made when you were learning?
Only one? I made many?
The biggest.
The biggest mistake. I was afraid of silence. When I did not know a word, I stopped. Completely. Like a machine with no power. And that silence, it made everything worse. The other person felt uncomfortable. I felt ashamed. Sometimes the conversation just ended there.
So you stopped trying to be perfect.
What changed?
I learned to keep moving, even without the exact word. You use other words. You explain around it. You say, it is like this, or I am looking for the word for something that happens when, and the person helps you. Most people, they want to understand you. They are not waiting for you to fail. They are hoping you succeed, because a conversation that works is better for both sides. I stopped trying to be perfect and started trying to be understood. Two completely different goals. Perfect English keeps you inside your head. Understandable English puts you in the room, in the conversation, in the relationship. And it is the relationships that build a life, not the grammar.
Not the grammar. Write that down somewhere. The grammar is the tool. The relationship is the point.
Yes, a hammer is not the goal. What you build with the hammer, that is the goal. English is the hammer. Do not fall in love with the hammer. Fall in love with what you can build.
That is very good.
It took me years to understand, but once I did, everything changed. I stopped being afraid of mistakes. Mistakes became my teachers. They are still my teachers. I make mistakes in English even today, and I am grateful for every one of them. Because every mistake is information. Every mistake is the language showing me something I had not seen before.
You mentioned earlier that English opened doors. Can you say more about that? What doors?
The first door was trust. When you speak to someone in their language, even imperfectly, they trust you more. This is psychology, not business. A person who makes the effort to meet you in your language is telling you, I respect you enough to try. And people respond to that. They open up, they share, they want to work with you.
And practically,
I could be in the room. Before my English, I was always outside the room. Important meetings, someone else translated. Important decisions, someone else represented us. The person in the room has the advantage, always. Even if you say very little, being in the room means you hear everything. You see the faces. You feel the direction of the conversation before the words even come. That is power, and English gave me that power.
So it was not just communication, it was access.
Access, yes, that is the perfect word. English is access. Access to information. Most of the world's important knowledge is written in English first. Access to people. The most interesting, the most ambitious, the most creative people in every field communicate in English. Access to markets, to ideas, to opportunities that simply do not exist if you can speak only one language.
and the people who do not have that access, what do you see happening to them?
I see them working very hard and staying in the same place, not because they are not smart, not because they have no good ideas, but because the world does not know they exist. Your idea in your own language reaches a certain number of people. The same idea in English reaches the world. Same idea, different reach. And the difference is everything.
Same idea, different reach. That is the gift English carries. Not magic, not talent, just reach.
I want to ask about the emotional side because so many of our listeners, they feel shame around their English. They feel embarrassed to speak. What do you say to them?
I say, I was that person for a very long time. I remember one meeting early in my career with international partners. I had prepared, I had practiced, and when the moment came, when everyone was looking at me, my mind went completely empty. Like someone turned off all the lights. I sat there for what felt like a very long time. Then I said something very simple, very broken. And one of the partners, he smiled, not laughing, a genuine smile. And he said, I understand you perfectly. And I thought, that is all I needed, to be understood, not admired, not impressive, just understood.
Did the shame go away after that?
Slowly, it does not disappear overnight, but every time you speak and survive, the shame gets a little smaller. Every time you stay silent, it gets a little bigger. So the choice is always the same. Speak and shrink the shame, or stay silent and feed it.
Speak and shrink the shame. I have never heard it described that way.
Many years of making mistakes teaches you how to describe them.
And there is something else I wanted to ask. Many people listening, they feel alone in this. They feel they're the only ones struggling. What do you say to them?
I say, you are not alone. Every single person who speaks two languages well, every single one went through what you are going through right now. The frustration, the blank mind, the feeling of sounding stupid, we all went through it. The difference between us and the people who never learned is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is one thing. We did not stop. That is all. We did not stop. And if you do not stop, you will get there too. There is no other ending to the story.
What is your actual method? If someone is starting today, what do you tell them? Be specific.
Okay, specific. First, every morning, before anything else, 10 minutes of English. Not studying, not a book, just speaking to yourself about your day, what you will do, what you feel, what you see outside the window. 10 minutes, out loud. Your voice must move.
Why the voice specifically?
Because speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth, your tongue, your breath, they need training like any muscle. If you only read English in your head, your mouth does not learn. The brain learns, but the mouth stays slow. Every athlete trains the body, not just the mind. Language is the same. Your mouth needs its own practice.
What is the second?
Second, find one person to speak English with. One real person, not an app, a person. It can be online, it can be a classmate, it can be anyone who will listen and respond. A person responds in unexpected ways. An app gives you the answer it was programmed to give. A person surprises you. And surprises are how the brain learns fastest.
And the third?
Third, and this is the most important, stop measuring your English by how it sounds. Measure it by what it does. Did you get what you needed? Did the other person understand? Did the conversation happen? Then your English worked. It does not need to be beautiful. It needs to be functional. Beautiful comes later. Functional comes first.
Functional comes first. Beautiful comes later. Most learners are waiting to feel beautiful before they speak. Jack is saying, speak functionally today. Beautiful is a destination, not a starting condition.
Exactly. You do not wait to swim beautifully before you get in the water. You get in the water. You stay alive. You practice. Beautiful comes from time in the water, not from waiting on the shore. The shore feels safe, but nothing grows on the shore.
There is one thing I notice when I listen to you. You sound like someone who genuinely loves what he does. Not just business. This, talking with us, sharing what you know. Why?
Because this is what I love most, more than the business, more than the money, more than any of the things people think are important.
Tell us more.
I love speaking with people who want to walk a path I have already walked. I love it especially when they bring new methods, new ideas, new energy that I do not have, because then I learn from them too. The teacher becomes the student. That is the most beautiful thing in life.
And you welcome that?
I welcome it more than anything, and I will tell you something honest. I will be very happy when the people listening today go beyond what I have done, not equal to me, beyond me. That is the real success, not when you achieve, when the people you teach surpass you.
That is a different definition of success.
It is the truest one I know. What is the point of climbing a mountain alone? You are just standing on a peak with no one to share it with. But if someone you helped climbs higher, then your effort continues even when you stop. That is what real legacy is. Not money, not buildings, not a name on a list. People who learned something from you and went further. That is everything.
And that is why you are here today.
That is exactly why I am here today. So you listen now through this video, and maybe in a year, 2 years, 5 years, we sit at the same table, anywhere in the world, and we speak English freely about anything, about business, about life, about things I have not even thought of yet. And in that conversation, you teach me something. You show me something I did not see, and I will say to you what I am saying now. Thank you. Thank you for going further. That moment. That is what I am working toward with every conversation, with every podcast, with every person who tells me, Jack, your story helped me. That is the real reward.
That is a beautiful answer.
It is honest. That is all. Honesty is always beautiful, even when it is simple.
One more question before a word tour. What is the one thing you wish someone had told you at the beginning?
That the discomfort is not a sign you are doing it wrong. The discomfort is a sign you are growing. When English feels hard and when your mouth feels heavy and your mind feels slow, that is not failure. That is the feeling of your brain building new pathways. It hurts a little, the way muscles hurt when they are getting stronger. And most people, they feel this discomfort and they think, I am not good at this, I should stop. But the discomfort is the proof you should continue. The discomfort is progress with an uncomfortable face.
Discomfort is progress.
I wish someone had told me this in the beginning. I thought something was wrong with me. Nothing was wrong. I was just early in the process. And early in the process always feels like failure before it feels like progress. If you are listening today and you feel that, please understand, you are not failing. You are early. Everyone who is good now was once exactly where you are. Exactly. The only difference is they did not stop.
Okay, word tour. Today, the words come from you. Words that meant something in your journey. Bob will read each one slowly, clearly, and everyone listening, please repeat out loud.
I am honored. Let's go.
1. Access. Access. The ability to reach something. A place, a person, an opportunity that was not available before. English gave me access to rooms I was never supposed to enter. Access is not a gift. It is built. One conversation, one relationship, one language at a time. Repeat. Access. Access. 2. Functional. Function. All. Working well enough to do the job. Not perfect, but effective and useful. Functional English means your message arrives. Beautiful English means it arrives elegantly. Start with functional. A functional sentence spoken with confidence is worth more than a perfect sentence that is never said. Repeat. Functional. Function. All. 3. Persistence. Persistence. Continuing to do something even when it is difficult, refusing to stop because of discomfort or failure. Jack's English was built on persistence, not talent, not resources, just showing up every day. Persistence is not the most exciting quality, but it is the one that produces results. Repeat. Persistence. Persistence. 4. Discomfort. Discomfort. A feeling of unease or difficulty, the sensation of being outside your comfort zone. Discomfort is progress with an uncomfortable face. When learning feels uncomfortable, that is exactly the right feeling. Your brain is working. Repeat. Discomfort. Discomfort. 5. Fluent. Fluent. Able to speak a language smoothly and naturally without stopping to translate or search for words. Fluency is not about speaking fast. It is about speaking without fear. Jack became fluent not by studying more, but by speaking more even when it was hard. Repeat. Fluent. Fluent.
6. Impression. Impression. the effect a person or thing has on how others think or feel about them. Stop trying to make an impression. Start trying to make a connection. The best impression you can make in any language is the impression of someone who genuinely wants to be understood. Repeat. Impression. Impression. Impression.
7. Rhythm. Rhythm. The pattern of sound and timing in language, the natural flow that makes speech feel alive. Every language has its own rhythm. English has a rhythm you must feel before you can speak it naturally. When you listen to English not for meaning but for rhythm, something in your ear begins to change. Repeat. Rhythm. Rhythm.
8. Opportunity. Op or to ni ti. A moment or situation that makes it possible to do or achieve something valuable. Every conversation in English is an opportunity, not to impress but to practice. Opportunity does not always look like opportunity at the moment it arrives. Repeat. Opportunity. Opportunity.
9. Courage. Courage. The ability to do something difficult or frightening, especially speaking when you want to stay silent. Speaking a foreign language requires a specific kind of courage, the courage to be misunderstood and continue anyway. Courage in English is not dramatic. It is opening your mouth when every part of you wants to stay quiet. Repeat. Courage. Courage.
10. Legacy. Leg-a-see. What you leave behind for others. The impact you have on people who continue after you. Real legacy is not money or buildings. It is the people who learned something from you and went further. Jack believes the highest success is when the people you helped surpass you. Repeat. Legacy. Legacy.
10 words from one person's real journey. Repeat them tonight, and then use one of them tomorrow in English, in a real sentence, even to yourself.
Can I say one more thing before we close?
Please.
To everyone listening, I know what it feels like to look at English and think, this is not for me. This belongs to other people. People who had better schools, better teachers, more money, more time. I had none of that. What I had was a decision. A stubborn, inconvenient, uncomfortable decision to keep going when it would have been easier to stop. And that decision, it changed everything. Not just my work, my relationships, my thinking, the way I see the world. English did not just open doors. It showed me there were more doors than I knew existed. And I want that for every person listening today. Not because English is magic, but because you, with your ideas, your intelligence, your story, deserve to be heard by the whole world. Not just the part that speaks your language.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you for having me. Bob, Zara, this was a real conversation. I felt every minute of it.
Episode 15. Done.
Comment below. Jack will read them. If you have a question about English learning, not about business, not about money, about the language itself, about the fear, about the method, write it. The best questions, the most honest ones, Jack has agreed to come back and answer them in a future episode.
So, make 'em count.
I will be there, I promise. And remember, the day you stop being afraid to speak is the day English truly begins for you. That day can be today.
Subscribe to the Primate podcast. New episodes every 2 days. From the studio, I'm Zara.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Jack. Keep speaking, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard.
Don't be a parrot. Parrots repeat. Primates understand.